What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Panther Sports Zone across the board. My name is Colin Parker, and here I have with me
Miss Lauren Radford. What's going on, PB Nation?
right on. We are going to talk about one topic and one topic only: the Prairie View A&M basketball season. It is crucial. Tomorrow is our last game against Texas Southern University. Tomorrow, and it's a lot. So we're gonna get down to it. Early season predictions. We had us, winning a lot of games, and I thought we was gonna be like up there, but we are 5-25. And how do you feel about that?
I mean, man, it's safe to say alone that it's definitely been a season for the men's squad. Came out rocking real hard with a couple wins, and then next thing you know, we come up against Grambling and Southern, back-to-back losses for both of them, not just once this year, but also twice. So main thing I definitely saw back during the Bethune game, for the men's squad, you come out hot and heavy, sure, but you definitely have to at some point slow down that momentum to get back on track. Should be no reason why we're missing free throws or we're not driving to the paint, getting those extra points on the board, especially defense. Defense has to be on lock and key, because without a good defense, there's no good offense.
Defense
anywhere.
win games, you're right.
And that's definitely something that we're going to need against the Tigers tomorrow, since we already lost against them earlier in the season. And it should have been no way we even lost that game either. You know what I mean? So those are just the main crucial points that we got to have going into tomorrow. And especially with it being, not only that, it's the last home game of the season, right before the championship. So definitely got to lock in.
Yeah. Right on. And when y'all are watching this episode at home, we are not discrediting any of our basketball players. They are some one-of-a-kind hoopers, and we love to see them hoop.
Yeah.
Always. We are always rooting for them. We are students at Prairie View. We're always rooting for our Panthers behind the ball. So we're going to talk about points-wise. Tanaji Petaway averages 17 points a game. He also is leading with Nick Anderson with 18.9 points. He leads the team in minutes, points, rebounds, and free throw percentage. And Braylon Bush leads as well, the third leading scorer, with 13.6 points. And what are the key efforts to getting points on the board?
Getting points on the board just means that you also have to play as much minutes as you can, because you can't score points unless you're playing. And obviously these guys are duking it out on that court as much as they can. Points per game, it's crazy. Assists, everybody knows that with the good assists that you have, then you still end up winning the game. But at the same time, you got to make sure that, like I said before, going into the paint. You can't just keep throwing up threes and just praying to God that it actually does go in. You got to be able to have that grit to get out there and go for it. So that's the main thing with that. Just making sure that you, of course, don't get into the bonus. That's a huge thing right there. But with each and every one of these games that we play, it's an opportunity to actually, put yourself out there and put yourself up on the board as well. So it's just a means of getting out there, grinding it out, scoring as much as you can, but also being patient with yourself as well. That's the big thing.
Yeah, right on with that. When you say rebounds, our
Rebounds
big men,
critical, especially with how much height we have on the team. Should be no reason y'all are not out there fighting tooth and nail.
Right.
And I mean that.
Yeah.
Like, kicking and screaming, however kind of way you need to get that ball out of your opponent's hand, man. It's just facts. That's the way it has to be. Because with the rebound, it's another opportunity for you to score and get more points on the board, not just for yourself, but for the team. And it's just how it has to be.
Right. Our rebound leaders for our men's basketball team, Nick Anderson, once again, with 5.3 rebounds. Marcel Bryan right behind him with 4.7 rebounds. And Elijah Terry with 3.6 rebounds. They have been getting boards all throughout the season. And, we appreciate them for getting these boards. And they've shown hard work throughout the whole season. So for our assist, Orlando Horton Jr. with 2.8. Braylon Bush with 2.6 assists, and Jordan Tillman with 1 point assist. And let me ask you a question. How important it is to get ball movement and to pass the ball out to the leading scorers?
Oh, man, it's so important, because with ball handling and ball passing, you got to talk out there on that court. Communication is always key.
Y'all.
Very, very key. If you don't talk to your players, how you gonna know where it's going? And that's how turnovers happen. Turnovers is what is the last thing that you need, especially in crunch time, fourth quarter. It's the last thing that you need out there. So talking to them is very important. Just making sure that you look where you're going at all times. Make sure where the ball is at. Staying man on man as well during defense. But once you're on offense, you got to make sure that you know where the ball is at all times. Make sure that you know where it's going, so that way when he gets back to that lead score, he can just handle his business and get those points on the board.
Right. It's all about ball movement. So now we're going to tune into our defensive stat line. For steals, Orlando Horton Jr. once again leading with 1.5 steals. Zakir Sawyer with 0.9 steals and tying with John Paul Ricks with 0.9. And you talk about defense, right? Defense is key. And how do you think they've been doing defensively throughout this season? What's on your mind with their defense?
See, personally, the last time I saw them play with their defense, they move quick, but they almost move just nearly too quick for their own good. It's almost like they're just scattered at times. And so the way I see it is that pick a man that you know for a fact that you can guard and stick with that man throughout the entirety of the game. That's how I always make sure I played the game. Because when you do that, you always stick to the plan. When you stick to the plan, you get a good outcome. Last time I saw that wasn't really so much as the case, and next thing you know, by the end of the second half, everybody's just all over the place trying to scrounge around and get to where they need to go. And if you just make sure that you stick to who you're on, who you're guarding, then you'll be just fine.
Right. So as far as our blocks wise, Marcel Bryant is leading the block stats with 1.1 blocks per game, Ryan Bolton Jr. with 0.7 blocks, and Elijah Terry with 0.5 blocks. So you heard it here first. You have to play defense, and you have to move at ease with your feet and your hips.
And one more thing, too.
Right, go ahead.
One more thing. Even with that defense, when you're trying to steal the ball, certain times you do have that opportunity, but most times also still doesn't really present itself. So just make sure that you're keeping a lookout for it. But if the opportunity does come through, then that's where that offense really comes in key, and you just need to drive it every time.
Right. Okay, now we're going to go back to offense, and we're going to look at our three-point leaders. Now, this stat line is very impressive. Braylon Bush, 43.8% from the three-point line, and Orlando Horton Jr. from the 40 percentage. And our field goal leader, he leads, made it past 50% with 52% from field goals. So how do you get these, how do you get the ball to them,
Like I said, talking is key, because if you don't know who it is that you're talking to, or you don't know where that sound is coming from, you're not going to know what to do. And sometimes that does happen, and so you have to improvise on the court. Think about, how am I going to be able to get this ball to where I need it to go? And me coming from a golfer standpoint, too, that also works as well. But in opportunities like that, you have to be on the lookout, because next to communicating, it's also where you have to look and see who's open and also be paying attention. Sometimes you're going to have the opportunity where if you see a moment where you can just drive it, or if you could shoot it, then go ahead, and you feel confident with it, go ahead, do it. But knowing where you have to go to get that ball in that hoop, and of course knowing where you need to assist from, those field goal points, they're going to come through. But most of the time, like, you can't be having risky mistakes, not knowing where to dribble the ball, not knowing where to pass it. Of course, like I said, turnovers, that's a huge thing. Just make sure that you actually know where you need to go with it. Right.
So going back to the three-point percentages, they are doing well, both above 40%. But the thing is that they only won 5 games. So the question of the matter is, do these three-point percentages really matter when it comes to
They only matter
winning?
Once they go in the basket.
Right.
Like I said before, if you bust your butt when it comes to nothing but just threes, then yes, it will work if you're confident with it. But the more I see threes going up, the more I think, like, okay, we're losing more points on the board than we are gaining them. Because everybody, and again, like we said before, we're not coming at y'all saying that we're discrediting or discarding anybody at all. However, though, not everyone can be Steph. That's just facts.
Right.
Not everyone can do what he does. That's a dime a dozen. but the amount of threes that we have and everything and the percentage with it is still kind of low. 40%, that's still kind of low. And we lose points on the board for that, and we lose time every time we try to throw it up there. So you really got to have to take a step back and look at that and say, okay, we see that this is an issue. We see that we need to fix it. The only way that we can fix it is if we start working on form, where angle and everything, all of it. So that's the big thing with threes. But at the end of the day, try taking a step back and not shooting as many threes, and more so just try and, like I said, drive.
Okay.
Just take the drive.
Right. So now we're going to go into free throws. Our two leaders for our free throws is Nick Anderson with 84.6 for percentage and Solomon Orebu with 83.3 for the percentage. So when I ask you this, be honest with me. How important are free throws
oh my God,
in a
so
game?
Important.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot waste no free throws, man,
right.
at all. I'm getting flashbacks from when I used to play ball, and every time I miss one, man, it's not pretty. But those free throws are crucial just as much as a foul is, because once you foul out, that's it. Same thing with free throws. Like, if you miss both of them, that's it. It's going to be a minute till the next one comes through. Every chance that you get, you truly, truly have to lock in, because those free throws is what can get you to those points on the board. And they can be very well the same thing that will get you to win that game when it's crunch time.
Right.
So the amount of free throws I saw them missing, yeah, it definitely kicked them in the bucket for sure. And from what I've also been seeing and hearing from TSU in the last game and just in general, like, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be fouling like crazy on both ends. And so those free throws are definitely what's going to be needed in order for us to clinch that spot in the championship tournament.
Right on. So now we're going to go off of our previous game. We played at Jackson State University, and we fell short 74-88. So I'm going to read you these stats. 44% from the field goal, 33% from the three-point, 7 turnovers, and 22 rebounds. And our star player was none other than Braylon Bush with 25 points, 7 for 22 for the field goal range, and 8 for 9 for the free throw. So he only missed one free throw. So knowing what you know now about the stats, how did you feel about the game? What were we lacking?
So for one thing, the free throw thing is what actually got me. Missing only one free throw out of the span of, what was it, like maybe 90 minutes total since 2 halves. That's pretty darn good. I would definitely 100% say that. 2 rebounds, also really good. And I've seen Braylon play too. The ups that he can get to that goal is wild. It's something I ain't seen in a minute. But even with all those other stats, where he is good at, the others can also pick up the pace for themselves as well, where they need to be at. I think that's where they kind of ended up falling short in Jackson State. You can't just let one man be doing a one-man job out there for the whole collective unit.
Right.
It's a one collective unit thing. And so that being said, even going into tomorrow and in all these other past games, I think that's another thing that we kind of fell short in, trying to let just one person do all the work.
Right.
When no, you guys have to also pick it up where they are lacking at.
Right. And another key thing as far as lacking, we definitely lacked in rebounds. The score of rebounds was Jackson State 44, and we got half of those rebounds, getting 22 in. So is that important?
Oh, rebounds are hugely important. Like I said at first, backtracking.
Was that do you think was that key for Jackson State to win that game? Was it the rebounds?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to say it's the main key thing. There are other key factors, but it's definitely one of them. Because like I said, with the amount of hype factor that we have on the team, should be no reason why we're not getting up there and getting that ball back in our return and then going back up for the same shot. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you need to go back up for it. I mean, the whistle's going to be called out on a foul eventually on someone, whether it's our team or the opposing team. But rebounds are definitely crucial because it allows the ball to get back in our possession. And we can always have another opportunity to make that score. And getting half of what the other team gets in getting the ball back, definitely not good. It's just not good.
Right. Okay. And now we're gonna go on to probably the biggest game of all of the season. And what is the score predictions? Do you think we're gonna take this home, or do you think we're going to fall short? And what are the score predictions?
Considering the stats that you just read to me and everything for over the span of the season, do I believe that we have a chance to win against the Tigers? Yes. if they put everything all together, rebounds, free throws, especially free throws, like I said, hardly any turnovers, using communication, using that power for the drive and everything, and making sure that they do everything that they need to. It should be no reason why we at least don't get possibly about the same amount of scores we got in the last game, but reversed.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more, depending on how well we actually play, but at least the same scores that we had last time at TSU. And not to mention, it's Mardi Gras Day tomorrow. Like, for real, show up and sell out, man. Yeah,
for all our seniors.
For both, not just even the players, but the fans as well. Senior night, too. Yeah, like, it's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be packed. It's a Texas showdown for real.
For sure.
Yeah. Another question: who do we need to see something from personally tomorrow afternoon?
Oof. That's a tough one, especially with all the stats that you read for me. Pennyway is an interesting player, in my opinion. You know, with his stats, if you mind reading me them again. Okay,
his stats are 17 points average, and hold on.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting character for that, because even with Braylon's stats and everything, you know, against the TSU game, there were some solid stats. Like I said, only getting in just missing one free throw out of the whole game, that was definitely something. But Pennyway, I think that
he has one of the most minutes as well.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing, playing time. That's definitely crucial. If you have that many points just coming in from the most amount of playing time, that means you're definitely doing something that you should be doing out there. And so I definitely want to see how he goes about doing that tomorrow for this game. And, you know, the Lord allows it, if they actually do win, it's going to be something to watch even more so when they're out in the tournament brackets going up against the rest of the SWAC conference.
Right. All right, now we're going to get to our standings as far as the SWAC. And the SWAC tournament is on the way. It is going to start on March 11th and end through March 15th. And our final game is crucial. There's 10 spots, and 1 through 9 are sealed. And we are the 10th seed, and we have to go against Texas Southern University and UAPB in the same way. We are 4 for 13 in conference play, 5 and 25 overall. They are 3 and 14. So the situation, the scenario, is we have to win. We win, we take over the 10th seed, and then everything is set. However, if we don't win, and UAPB also loses, then we stay in the 10th spot as well. But if we lose and UAPB gets the win, it's like a blockbuster. It's one goes up, one goes down, and that's it. So I think personally we need to win this, because everything is all on the line, and we have to win this game. It got to come from Braylon Bush, Tanaji Petaway, Marcel Bryant, all of them.
Just the whole team.
Yeah.
Not even just the players, coaches, trainers, everybody. Everybody has to do their part tomorrow.
We know y'all went through a tough season, and it's only going to get better from here. We just need this win. So one of my last questions for you is that how important is the game against TSU tomorrow?
Man, I'm just like you. I'm looking at the ranking system now on the stats. I mean, man, Southern, I'll give props to them. They definitely dug it out.
Southern,
they definitely dug it out this season. Absolutely. Same thing, Jackson State, Bethune. Everybody, you know, they all went through their own trials and tribulations this season.
Right.
But specifically for us, this game is definitely do or die, because the only way we're going to see that tournament and possibly get a ring from this is if we, you know, mollywop TSU.
Right.
And that's just fact. It's no ill will, no bad blood, but that's just how it has to be.
Right.
Because, I mean, everybody in the athletic department knows what's better than getting not only just a trophy, but also a big old block on your finger that you carry around with you for the rest of your life. That's always something great. And, you know, especially in this case, with the record that we do have, and we still managed to cop out a dub and potentially go into the tournament, no matter how we leave the tournament, whether we make it to the finals or even if we just barely even make it into the tournament, it's still something that we can go home being proud of.
Right. With that being said, if you watch the entirety of this episode, you should know that this game against TSU is very crucial. Everything has to be put into play, and everything has to work accordingly. We will keep you updated this after the weekend is concerned and going into spring break with me, Khalid, and Lauren right here, make sure y'all guys subscribe. Subscribe. Tell your mama to subscribe. Tell your dad to subscribe. Tell your TT to subscribe. Everybody subscribe. KPVU is on all social media platforms. It's on Instagram. It's on everything. You have no, what's that word?
No excuse.
You have no excuse. Until next time, I'm Colin Parker.
And I'm Maya Radford. And everybody, make sure you stay safe, have fun at the game, and have a great spring break. And good luck to all the rest of us on our midterms.
Good luck to y'all.
Wow.